Hello, everybody. Someone is mowing really loudly outside, and if you can hear it, I'm sorry. I can't control what my neighbors do. I'm doing the best I can. If you're a writer, then you'll know sometimes it's hard to turn off the writer lens while reading. Instead of immersing yourself in the world and the characters, sometimes you'll notice filter words or tropes or foreshadowing. This issue is especially intense for me because I have a touch of the tism. Storytelling has been my special interest since I was a kid, which means I'm both pedantic and a grammar slut. So when I read books, I can't turn my writer brain off, and I'm noticing every single thing the author is doing right and wrong. Which means I'm especially qualified to bitch about the most common mistakes I see when I'm reading books or critiquing manuscripts. And when I say these mistakes are common, I mean I see newbies making them, and I see them in books written by multi-published career authors. Who is editing this stuff? How are they letting it happen? So if you're a writer, based on my reading experience, there's about a 50% chance that you're making these mistakes too. Heed my warning. Don't do this shit. I'm telling you because I care. Number 1, no one seems to understand how dialogue tags work. I distinctly remember learning about dialogue tags in the 3rd grade. If a 9-year-old can do it, certainly you adults can do it too. A dialogue tag is a tiny phrase telling readers which character is speaking the dialogue. An easy example is, no one understands dialogue tags. Jenna said. Said or say are the most commonly used dialogue tag verbs, but other options are whispered, exclaimed, yelled, retorted, etc. The point is, the verb in the dialogue tag needs to be a form of speech. You're saying this dialogue is coming out of the character's mouth. If that's the case, the string of dialogue does not end in a period. It ends in a comma. No one understands dialogue tags, comma, end quotes. Jenna said, period. The only exceptions to this are if you're ending the dialogue with a question mark or an exclamation point. Why does no one understand dialogue tags? Question mark, end quotes. Jenna asked, period. I hate that no one understands dialogue tags. Exclamation point, end quotes. Jenna yelled, period. Now, sometimes dialogue is punctuated with narrative rather than a dialogue tag. This is when a line of dialogue begins, ends, or is punctuated with an action. For example, no one understands dialogue tags. Jenna folded her arms in a huff. I'm sorry, Butters. Jenna folded her arms in a huff is not a dialogue tag because it is not a form of speech. Her arms are not saying these words, they're performing an action, which means the dialogue ends with a period. It is a separate sentence from the action that occurred. Yes, Jenna folding her arms does help indicate who is speaking, but it is still not a dialogue tag. There are other punctuation issues when it comes to dialogue, but we're just starting with the basics here. If you're still confused, a quick Google search can help you out, but holy hell. This is 3rd grade English, folks. Get it together. And if you don't trust yourself to get it right, by God, hire an editor. On a related note, number 2, commas. No one knows how to use commas, and it drives me up the wall. For the record, I understand the confusion. Commas are probably the hardest punctuation mark to master because they have so many conflicting rules. Not to mention, these rules can change via region, and they also change over time. That said, if I'm in an industry and I'm trying to make money, I usually make an attempt to learn the building blocks of that industry. And punctuation is the building blocks of writing, so what are we doing, folks? I'm not gonna list all comma rules here because that would send me into an early grade. And the last time I made a video about commas, I received the most annoying DMs I've ever gotten in my entire life. Just understand that if you have an extremely long sentence with multiple clauses and there are no commas to be found, you're f***ing up. Again, please hire a copy editor. I am begging you. Number 3, relying on cliches to make a story work. In today's market, tropes can really sell a novel, but there is a difference between tropes and cliches. A trope is a common storytelling device, like forbidden lovers or found family. A cliche, in this instance, is an overused trope that is written in the exact same manner again and again. A lot of writers will see popular tropes and think to themselves, okay, that's what sells, so I'm gonna write it. But you have to add purpose behind the trope, as well as a specific voice and perspective. Enemies to lovers is huge right now, but it only works if the characters have a reason to be enemies. If they hate each other from the jump for no particular reason, readers can tell what you're doing. We know you shoehorned in this trope for the purpose of marketing, and it reads as lazy because you didn't take the time to make it make sense. This is also common among sexy tropes, tropes that are designed to tantalize and titillate the reader. There are specific character types, descriptions, wardrobe choices, and even phrases that are used over and over again because readers find them sexy. We're seeing good girl all over the place, but this line doesn't work for every single character dynamic. And I personally hate it, but that's besides the point. It's especially annoying when you see genre or category specific cliches in the wrong genre or category. Young adult cliches in adult books are hard to tolerate because I'm not a teenager. I'm almost 40. And yes, the stunningly beautiful leading lady who hates dresses and just wants to run in the dirt with the boys totally would have worked on me when I was 13. That's why it's a young adult cliche. But when you feature it in an adult book, the reader supposedly has a fully developed brain. We see the internalized misogyny and banality of this trope. Leave it in YA where it belongs. Number 4. All the characters look the same. All the women are skinny white bombshells, and all the men are muscular white looks-maxers. Basically, they're all conventionally attractive, they're all able-bodied, and they're all white. Now don't get me wrong, I have no problem with a cast of physically attractive characters. That's actually my preference. But you can still add diversity and realism to the beauty. Different body types, skin colors, hair textures, and physical abilities can be hot. But I read a lot of books where everyone looks like an Abercrombie model and there's no variation between them besides eye color or hair color. Maybe we'll get freckles, but only for the leading lady, and that's just to tell the audience that she's drop dead gorgeous in a relatable way. Now, if your book takes place in Poland, it totally makes sense for a majority of your cast to be white, because 99% of their population is white. But that doesn't explain why everyone is stick thin, has supermodel looks, and is able-bodied. And you gotta remember that setting does make a difference. I read a rom-com that takes place in a rustic location not far from where I live. It's a very sporty spot. People there camp, fish, and chop their own wood. But the entire cast was glammed up like they were on Love Island. But only the white people from Love Island, obviously. Again, I don't have a problem with hot characters, skinny characters, able-bodied characters, or white characters. I have a problem with all the characters looking alike to the point where I can't tell them apart. It's boring, it's lazy, it's not creative, and it may reveal some internal biases. And number 5, not doing enough research. We as writers often write about things that we have no experience with, and that requires research. But a lot of writers count watching TV as research. We see this with writers who assume things about medieval history that isn't correct. We also see this with writers who think all of ancient history was comparable to the societal structures of medieval Europe. Plenty of non-European ancient societies were very advanced and clean and intelligent. Just saying. But I see this the most with character careers. Models who scream at their agents over the phone, threatening to fire them, when a quick Google search will tell you that that's not how the industry works. Agents are not beholden to their models, unless they're Kendall Jenner. I also read about a huge famous influencer whose full-time job was posting to Instagram. This influencer had 20,000 followers. 20K is a lot of followers, but it's not enough to make Instagram your career. I know this because I have over 30,000 followers. Do I make money off of Instagram? Absolutely. Could I support myself with that money? Not a chance. Maybe if I exclusively posted sponsored content, but that's not realistic. Not to mention, I don't think 20,000 followers is enough to make you a famous influencer. You could be famous in another field, but influencers become famous based on their social media reach. I understand that a lot of this isn't common sense, but if you're writing about these people, you gotta look it up. Do the research. Talk to someone in that field. Type in a Google search, but don't rely on AI to give you the right answer because you won't get one. And don't base your knowledge off of TV because they don't know what the they're talking about. So that's all I got for you today. If you're making these mistakes, you're in good company because half of the books I read make them too. But now you know better, and you could fix the suckage before publishing. If you'd like more videos on this topic, definitely let me know in the comments below. I have seen all kinds of mistakes. If you're into romantasy, check out the first 3 books in the Savior series. They are available right now, and they're available on Kindle Unlimited. I got them linked below. And if you need more help writing your very own book, check out my writing craft books, How to Write Romantasy and Shut Up and Write the Book. They're available at all major retailers. I also have them linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and I host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Yes, that's right. Yes, yes, you want attention. Okay, okay. Bye.
Look at you.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Look at you. You're just a precious little poopsie. Are you snoozing, Butters? Have you subscribed to my channel yet? I mean, you totally should. I post new videos on Wednesdays. I also host live streams on Mondays, and they're super fun. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and be sure to ring that bell. That way you're alerted as soon as I post new content.